Maybe have to
See the setup
reload the cache.
Reload it, all fine. Stream how. I think it's already live because it was 9 o'clock. Same. Maybe. Hey! I gotta get that stuff off my computer. Or I mean my camera real quick.
That'd be great.
Okay, it is working. It's on the event now.
Yeah, I just gotta get these things off the screen.
Yes. I think it's good. They've been working. It'll be better than that. Especially for the places. This one, you start a logger, something weird. It's always good. I think what's going to happen is what if you can get your phone and you can't
It's a startup, just like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, our house before we like fixed the whole thing.
Hey, Roger.
We may have.
No, I haven't done anything. This is the rest of the team. Yeah, pretty sure I'll No, but I enjoy it.
I'm still worried all
Backtracks.
Hey, see you. My hands are probably greasy.
Oh, no worries, you know, this is taco time. You want sauce? Taco sounds good.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
From the time they put a little more breakfast, it's much.
For about 3 years.
Got it.
That's 5 hours.
She's been doing that and just sort of caused us to so more sensors. Sensors got cheaper in the last few years, so we found that we could do things that we didn't think we could before. Firmware, all that stuff. Just, and I'm not an engineer. So.
And what are you doing now?
I'm helping with Redenim now. Redenim, so it'll be the first pitch. It's an online marketplace for jeans. So women love to shop, but they don't like to shop for jeans. Yeah. Emotional experience for women as they go and try 20 pairs. Average size. We're growing about it.
Should get it.
So plus sizes are really
Normal sizes now.
yeah, and it's absurd because that comes from fashion. I was in the fashion business years ago.
Oh, that's true.
There's not a lot of opportunity plus size.
Sure.
And so what we do is style our customers. We send them to try it. And we're pretty good at predicting they want somebody, they don't want to do a lot, so we choose them. They can update their profile.
Yeah.
Good stuff to the market.
Yeah.
I know there's she's got it. She'll be the first one.
Alright, cool. I'm going to tough traffic. I don't mind talking. I told you, like when I first started, started off in grad school, that's what I'm background in software. Started back in the 80s. And when I was in grad school, I had accounts and created super. So I'm looking at the machines and seeing all the things. My research is taking you got girl loves them. That's kind of the way we have positions that share across the process and then I got into software.
I'm going to formally introduce myself to Roger Chen.
Star Trek.
Don't give him too much of this. What do you think?
It's like, oh man, I know those guys.
I thought about that. When the origin first started, I thought about it. I had multiple opportunities.
I never remember their money.
I've worked at a few startups here. The guy who
Ready? Big changes to the next.
More information. Found out some interesting things. Validated more. Well, for one, we have more merchants than Ebates and others coupon cashback.
Based on the 55
like retailing
Empire?
How many times you're on the live stream right now if you want to.
Definitely don't want to be on the live stream.
Let's not go. I like Boulder a lot. Justice Park and then we go to really my last one Corpus Christi, but we started going to the system. That is our favorite place. It's kind of really crowded now, but back when we started going right now, we're taking advantage of the side of they grew the parking lot. My wife knows the system installation days. Now it's taking hours to get around some days. Yeah. Oh, wait. Last time we went, we stayed with the team. We went there. It's been years ago.
I think I read your bio. Scott? Hey, I'm the growth there. Yeah, pay technology.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, shit. That's good stuff. That's pretty cool. What was your name, Frank?
No, Juan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With
South of England. Yeah.
So what's your role? What do you guys do?
So I'm a director over there. We do social impact.
What's your role?
Right after that, so we learned a lot. We ourselves to cater to the top things.
I just jumped off at green energy company. An energy management company now. I actually was basically living in Zurich for the last 13 months.
How was that?
It was okay. I mean, I lived all over the world as a kid and stuff, so I mean, I opened our office there. My boss, my CEO, we worked at a startup 8 years ago. Went public and I was starting to see it for a million times. So we, that core group, we've always been friends. So we brought me over. They gave me $100,000 for opening up an office out there. And I was the first year at $700K, and then I think they're going to have about $3 million next year. Yeah, it's just booming. So good stuff. So I'm happy to look up to these guys. I can literally almost walk to work. So I just walked like southwards, like a mile south of here. It was awesome. Whereabouts are you?
I'm up in Allendale.
Allendale? Okay. Where's your office?
That's my office.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, right now it's a virtual office. We have to come on.
How far from the back? How big is that? Downtown.
Oh,
that's not bad at all.
and it wasn't
Yeah. Are you from this area?
Well,
oh, really? I worked out part.
cool.
Yeah, we have a gym. It's really nice. I don't know if you ever see it when you walk.
I saw the doors to it.
Showers and lockers and stuff. So, yeah, so if I don't take the bus in, because we don't have enough parking spots. And,
why would you want to drive? If you're that close.
I know. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, she's in the gym at 6:30, and she's actually I go as a personal trainer now. And it works out so perfect. If she's diligent, she's on time, she's got my expectations. So yeah, she's never flaked out.
Awesome.
Yeah, life is good. It's a complete change of lifestyle since I got this job. Because I'm not on airplanes, I'm not eating steaks and potatoes all the time. Yeah, it's awesome. We got something special. Have you seen our presentation?
No, I haven't.
Pretty sharp stuff. We got 120,000 waiting list. On the consumer side, we've got 5,500 merchants. So what we do is we provide cashback via USD or Bitcoin. And so the three main components of our sales strategy for the sales activity revenue, awareness, and our raising money. We've got a second meeting with my CEO, TDF Ventures, a small boutique that's DC, San Francisco, and Dallas. We got a second meeting with them Monday. But so on the merchant side, we look at companies like Bar, debit, even Dosh. I don't know if you've heard of Dosh, DOSH. They just, so they charge more because we undercut the credit card companies. We go directly to Stripe and the consumer. So once the consumer logs in and puts their credit card information into our app, we don't save that information, it goes directly to Plaid. We're able to, so big selling is 5% of the transactions, when the extra transactions made. We have no hardware, so there's no integration fee. We look at 5 stars and even Dosh, I think, has some sort of hardware. And then our auto analytics, so I can actually tell, so say we're eating a lot of sushi, right? We've got 2 years of spending habits, so that's huge, right? So say that I know, based on the algorithms and systems you're spending habits, that you eat sushi, and you're downtown, and you just bought a Coke somewhere, a beer somewhere, and sushi places will actually compete for your business. So Raw is a sushi place, they can push you a 15% cash back, whereas March can push you a 5%. However, it's automated into the system. It's actually beautiful. We can actually do scoring. So say there's a company that's Vodka Street Bar. It's got a site the domain downtown and also there south of the bar. Say they run a specific campaign that they actually did based on using our platform to set up the demographics, the budget, and we can figure out which one did better and what they should actually work on next time. Consider in terms of a budget, some sort of happy hour deal. So basically, essentially, one is driving sales and growing these businesses. And it's so, I mean, I've done some pretty good things already. SMEs, restaurants, dry cleaners. I got a close up with more tips around. Sites nationwide, mostly in the southeast. So I've got commitments from them to actually do a trial. So once we get a platform, it's got to out the merchant shops. I can actually bring my demo to them. I can show them how to
Really?
I told Sonya we're showing it.
Yeah, so what happens is, so say it's $100, you spend $100, right? You get 10% cash back. So we get 5%. We come up with a merchant gets 5. Right? So the cash back comes down real quick. Wow, we're 3 major.
I'm Steve. I don't think we're inside.
Steve, I'm Tim.
Heard about you?
Yeah, I know that. Thank you. Yeah.
It's still functioning. I just ended it off and
Thanks for talking to me, Denny. I was able to go back to Scotland and eat this taco. I don't know where you were sitting. I was sitting back here.
Remember the T-Mobile, the Circle of Friends, a long time ago back in Japan? We're going to do something similar where we offer them like $5 because that's the whole viral thing. Here are all your friends. You can double dip too, so say if you had a current deal where you get cash back, so I've got an Amex card and I can get Starbucks for like 5% off for $5. There's an additional 5% on top of that. Whatever the cash back deal is, and then you withdraw. And we have cash out. So once you get these deals, points in our bag. Pretty cool. Yeah, we got something special, I think. I've had 2 real huge successes in my life. Blue Pillar and then Efficient Networks.
Nice to see you. I love to walk in and when I stay.
Everyone knows you.
Great. Well, not quite. Thank you. I'm Ashley.
Scott Bender, it's good to meet you. Are you guys with each other? I think I looked at.
Well, I've attended a couple Swan events.
Okay.
And
She's in our network of friends.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Contracts, but I did go to the Tuesday night event.
Oh, I couldn't go to that, so I couldn't get a sitter. How was that? Was it awesome?
It was good to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Are you Shane, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm part of the team. I was just going for you. Pretty good stuff.
Good. Ashley's about to tell. Do you remember Ashley? She's going to keep our events. That's right.
So it was with 5 amazing panelists.
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
One of them is Victor's friend.
Oh, 2 entrepreneurs and 3 were investors. With Kristen Sadla and
the lady.
That's right. I love it. I started to start a fund in New York, similar to what she said in Pittsburgh, and then I was like, projects that's maybe right now. But yeah.
What event was this?
It was trying to get women more colorful. You don't worry about it. Everybody just buys stuff. But obviously it's riskier, so you don't want to just hit it. But people need to know about it.
Yes. So how were the entrepreneurs?
So it was the Austin Women magazine lady.
Oh, yeah.
Melanie?
No, that's not Melanie.
Melinda.
Yes,
Melinda Gardner.
that's right. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
And another
They want to present that. Yeah. That's sure.
Yeah.
She's
In
great.
fact, that's one of the meetings that I attended
that's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. See, you hit the perfect spot. That's still the only time I got all the leads I've been pitching.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we try to be as data-driven as possible, and they got the 3 highest scores, and so we're like, you're all good. So anyway.
Like what a concept, right? Yeah. Like it shouldn't be, but it is.
Well, truth be told, I was like, we should get dudes. We should get a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. And I'm all like, what does it to be like a third of everything right now? Like it doesn't have to be like to go from 0 to 50-50 is not.
Come on, no, ask for what you deserve.
Well, yeah, or you could say we deserve 100 because it's been all guys, so it's like our turn.
I would be comfortable with that.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg's approach to the Supreme Court bench. It's like, it's been mostly guys, maybe mostly women for 50 or 100 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. It would be interesting.
So did she get the funding that she needed?
So, I don't know if she got enough, but she got some. For you guys and she did.
She got what I don't know if they never seen it. She got what she was great. She was good. Too much energy.
She is such a good presenter.
Yeah, she is.
She's so authentic. She's energetic and interesting.
I almost wanted her to discount her for that because she's so good at it. It's tough not to enjoy her presence.
Yes. And I can't remember the other woman's name. I think y'all have invested in her.
Oh yeah.
Older, short, spiky black hair.
Oh, that's right. Ben Carl's. Ben our UT. Yeah.
More of an education kind of.
Yeah. 117. Exactly. Yeah, she has a great story too. And a good product as well.
Yeah.
Selling education is so hard.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it resonated. I have a 15-year-old, so her products is exactly the target demographic is my daughter's age.
Yeah, I think that helped her a lot with us because a bunch of us have kids. You can help out, yeah. Well, cool, I'm glad we were able to go to that.
Yeah, and I wish I could do it in video, so that little sound bite was kind of used to promote it or so that people were able to attend.
Yeah, I wasn't in it. Yeah, I felt bad. I was trying to go, and I couldn't get a sitter. Well, it's all tricky. It's all tricky. It's so tough. And it's also like after segmentation. Yeah, I like that. I like it too.
It's posted.
I really like it.
I mean,
Great parking.
Yeah, parking like a calculator. But after Bob was helping put it on. And so after he told me, I was like, oh wow, that's I know I'm going to be stressed out. I'm sure what I'm talking about. So I'm sure I'm the only one who's finished. I'm hoping to get it today.
almost done with getting information to my accountant. We're going to call him.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, my accountant was saying, do you want to find extensions? Like, I'll just do it this time before I change. And I got a refund.
That was the congratulations. That I started a project, so I've been
Oh, you started a project?
over there.
Good for you.
Started a project. Maggie Louise Confections. Chocolate shop.
Yeah.
So I've never sent her in the last 3 years.
Oh my God.
And she needs COO-esque person. Leave it to a larger space, coordinate build out,
That sounds like a fun project.
make the process more efficient. It is right in my.
Yeah? Nice. I'm glad to hear it.
If the CFO doesn't give me a hard time.
That's part of his job.
Yeah.
That's what the CFOs do.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'll say whenever I'm like, I just want to tell you right now. Good job. Thank you. Thank you for that mental flip.
Yeah, when all of us see $1, CFOs take like 50-55 cents.
And yesterday you wanted to rearrange stuff and be like, you can do this, and I'll do the data analysis at capacity. That's if you want.
I used to work with him. I mean, he used to have all these opinions about self-marketing. And I'm like, you know, I think I'm going to go to your department and talk about hedging rates. Because I think the hedging of the yen versus dollar is incredibly correct. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, exactly what you do. Yeah, exactly. It's changed my people and we're
I will present it and we can discuss. That's
It's actually really big. A lot of them are not that big.
They pulled right in and I'm sure he didn't realize it was like driveway to the parking.
In his defense, he is the CFO, so around him, he's the son.
I am.
I don't want anybody to touch me except for certain times of the day. It'll all come out and work. If you notice my kid, and then this one, the other one,
yeah, figuring out what to do. They look at you and it's like, okay, this is shit.
Starting out with slaves.
This is my two together. But one had he has long hair and this is kind of good. But I didn't buy either one. So there's a Siamese brother for restaurant. So sometimes, you know, I don't but a lot of people post like if somebody's like an older owner or they get them out of like bad very reason. Sometimes they find like a back to school. No, Kansu was like mini babies. Both of them were little. When I first got them, like way back. No, not very much. Like Randy was like 11 years old. And, yeah, they get along. I have a lot of things. There's a whole picture. There's a lot of lighter in there. They're drinking water. Very bad. When you're first born, when you're first born, those Siamese are white. So yeah, they're all white. Kansu is grabbing onto my face. Yeah, they graduated. They get along really well. Like the two cats get along together, and then they also get along with my kid.
What is our order? Okay. We're gonna have more time for everybody to mingle and talk. We're gonna get started. We've got folks who are watching online. We're gonna try to stick to the schedule as best we can. Want to welcome everybody out for our demo day for Sputnik for the winter 2018 cohort. We've got 4 great companies here in our first class. My partner Sonya and I just want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. I want to thank everybody who is watching online. We know that for a lot of folks it's just not economical to get on planes, and today it is really easy to stream these events. And so welcome. We're going to start off today with our first company, Redenim. And I'll do I'm going to do a quick introduction to each of the companies. But I'd like to talk a little bit about Redenim because I think as a man who is a VC, it's easy for me to miss opportunities that are specifically targeting women, or more so targeting women. And my partner has trained me very well in this regard. So when I was over Christmas reading through all the applicants and I got to Redenim, I saw, buy jeans online, and of course I thought, as a man, that's stupid, I can go buy jeans from Amazon, and it was like about to just go on to the next application. And I thought, wait a minute, I had been well trained by my partner. I need to ask a woman if this makes sense or is something that they would want. And so my wife and my 2 high school-age daughters, it was Christmas time, and we were sitting in the living room, and I said, hey, what do you guys think about buying jeans with a fit algorithm over the internet instead of having to go to a store? And I always joke that I saw Satan come out of my children and my wife because they were like, we hate buying jeans. And going to the store and buying jeans, and as I saw in them this intensity, and I realized, wow, if people feel this way, they hate going to the store to buy jeans, if women hate that this much, then this is something that's really useful. And since that initial thesis test with my family, having talked with a large number of women and other consumers, I found that there are a lot of people who feel that way. In fact, most women feel that way, and many men feel that way too. And that this is just a great thing that she's building, and she's doing. So, with that quick introduction, we'll turn it over to you, Kelly.
Cool. Get this going here.
Sonya, I've been doing AV for the cohort the entire time, and I'm like happy to hand it off for a second.
I was the apprentice now.
And we're kind of,
And it was on like 2 minutes ago.
I think your time's out.
You may need to unplug from your Mac and plug it back into it.
yeah.
It's like the one thing we came in early to make sure would not happen has completely happened. It has something for a second there. There you go.
function either downstream or upstream. Using kind of that cycle you're using top of the traditional ways that measure stuffing and everything, all the pumps and what. So we recommended that with the guys that makes executive vice presidents fail to start on. So he basically you can see that oil companies are incredibly and they have no time. They actually need to get that.
Alright. Good things come. Right on. So my name is Kelly Ernst. I'm the founder and CEO of Redenim. And we are your personal stylist for premium jeans. We combine powerful data with a personal touch to find the perfect size, style, and fit for our customers. And the Redenim team combines experts across industries, from fashion, beauty, to e-commerce, artificial intelligence, and high-growth startups. I'm a former developer for JPMorgan Chase, recently titled the Blue Jean Queen, and I engineered our initial platform and wrote our first AI ontology, and I built out a team of seasoned professionals. And together, we're building the foundation of a company that is going to disrupt pants forever and change the way that you shop for jeans. So our vision is pretty straightforward. We want you to get in our pants. Seriously, because everyone wears jeans, no one likes shopping for them. There's this misconception that women love shopping, but guys, ask your girlfriends, ask your wives, ask your daughters, they will all tell you the same thing. Bathing suits, bras, and jeans are the hardest thing to shop for, and the most emotionally draining because of our shades. First of all, trips to the mall are harrowing. Like, it's not the 90s. We don't just go to the mall to hang out. You have to sort through thousands of options across dozens of stores. And guys, when you shop for jeans, typically, you just look at waist and inseam and buy the same thing over and over, and that's okay. But for women, there's a lot more nuance to it. Jeans have to fit our bodies and our styles. And if stores don't have our size, we tend to take it personally. Like, there's something wrong with us, not with the inventory that stores are carrying. This is especially true for women in the plus size range. We're a grossly underserved market, especially in brick and mortar retailers. Then you get to the fitting rooms. And I will happily admit, I have had full-on meltdowns in fitting, like weepy meltdowns. On the weekends, they are crowded, they are claustrophobic, they are poorly lit, and they have horrible mirrors. So throw in like 9 pairs of jeans that don't fit, and you have a recipe for a total meltdown. Fitting rooms put women in a high-pressure situation to make a decision about an apparel item that they're going to be investing in, and it's under the worst possible circumstances. And many women leave disappointed and feeling bad about themselves because they literally didn't have the time or the space to make a decision about what is ultimately a very emotional purchase. Online shopping isn't any better. You still have to sort through thousands of options, now across hundreds of sites. And the worst part is the models that many of these retailers use only represent about 2% of the United States population of women, 5'7", 110 pounds. So you play fit roulette with whatever shows up at the door, and inevitably, it doesn't look the same on you as it did on the model. And a lot of women feel really, really bad about that. That's why return rates for retailers hover about 30%. That's at the expense of the retailer and the satisfaction of that customer. What all of this boils down to is that fit is the most important thing for women when they're shopping for jeans, and it is the hardest thing to get right. And women are incredibly vocal about this. These are real article headlines, whether they are commiserating over having breakdowns in fitting rooms, or they're raging about the fact that there's inconsistency in sizing across brands, or they're struggling with issues of body image because they see models that don't look like them. It's a miracle anybody buys jeans. Redenim has the ultimate solution. We are a pants as a service company, or PAS. We start by collecting information about our customers. We get to know them on our platform. They can then request a restyle box for a $19 styling fee. This is an on-demand service, it's not subscription, but our customers do come back for wardrobe updates and to try new styles a couple times a year. All that information is ported over to our artificial intelligence, and that narrows down the right size and style for that customer and goes through our options in inventory. One of our stylists will then take 3 pairs of those jeans that the data tells us that customer will love. We send them to the customer to try on at home for 7 luxurious days in the context of their full wardrobe and with no pressure. The customer can then keep any of the pairs of jeans that she wants to purchase. We will apply that $19 styling fee on top of the purchase price, and she returns the rest. Our system gets smarter the more time she does it. But the core of Redenim is actually powerful recommendation engine AI technology. This allows us to create hyper-personalization, but at scale. So where normal personal stylists might be able to work with a handful of customers at a time, our system allows our stylists to work with hundreds at a high rate of accuracy and customer satisfaction. So again, guys, when you shop for jeans, you look at waist and you look at inseam. We've identified hundreds of parameters that affect the way jeans fit women and how styles work for them. You'd be shocked to hear how front rise, for example, is different for women with different heights, or the taper of a pant leg is different for different shapes. We not only account for this, we embrace it. And our system is so successful because we start with getting fit right, and then we work through the details, things like wash and style, which is the exact opposite of the way that women traditionally shop. And it's why they're so unhappy and so unsuccessful in stores. We generate intelligent recommendations through a self-adapting AI that we've aptly named the genome. And the genome takes all the legwork out of shopping for jeans. So what we look at is the customer data in their profile, how it changes over time, and their past purchase history. What we also use, and this is very important for new customers, is something called cohort data. So we look at similar women, women who are a similar size, body type, style, right down to the region of the country where they live, to generate those intelligent recommendations and find styles that we know they're going to love. This also helps us make intelligent decisions about procurement. So while we do hold inventory, we make sure that we're only bringing in styles that we know we can pair with our customers and sell. So far, we rolled out a full version 1 of this platform. It is completely built. It incorporates a fully integrated customer profile, our stylist dashboard, and fulfillment systems. And we've also laid in the first iteration of our genome AI, and it is getting smarter every single day. We'll be migrating customers to this platform over the next 3 weeks, and all new customers will be brought onto it going forward. And frankly, the market is ripe to have pants disrupted. Women's denim in the US represents an $8 billion market, and it's growing as outfits become more casual in the workplace. Premium denim represents a $1 billion portion of that marketplace, and that's where we operate because the quality is better, the fit is better. Year over year since 2014, online sales of denim have increased by 28%. So people are comfortable shopping in this space, but again, they're not exactly getting it right because those return rates are still very high, 30%. All of this runs in tandem to the plus size market. Currently, 67% of women in the United States are a size 14 or above. So that's a size 33-inch waist or above. And this is incredibly important because this is a grossly underserved market by traditional retailers, even though there are more and more designers emerging, creating patterns that work in the size range. These are women who still want to feel comfortable, confident, unsexy in their clothing, and they're willing to spend money to do so. That's why the plus size market is currently at $20 billion and increasing. And we had to listen to this because a portion of our customers fall into the size range and we want to make sure that we can get them in awesome jeans too. Which leads me to how we make money as a service. So we purchase jeans from designers at wholesale prices, about $40 to $90 per pair, just like any other retailer. This allows us to own basically all of the margin on what we sell, but also the customer experience, especially the return portion of that, which is something that we're not able to do in a drop shipping situation. Again, we send 3 pairs of those jeans to customers that the data says they're gonna like, they're gonna love. They can purchase those pairs for a 40 to 60% markup, which is the retail standard. And again, those customers are coming back between 2 and 4 times per year to update their wardrobes and try new styles, especially as the seasons change, placing their lifetime value about $400 and growing. Any inventory that comes back to us is inspected. It must be unwashed and unworn. And as another function of our data intelligence, we're able to pair that with new customers at about a 70% rate, and it's getting better. So we have high turnover in the inventory that we carry. So we're a destination for denim. The competition is big, but so is their focus. So services like Stitch Fix and Trunk Club, which also offer personal styling, their focus is on workwear, full outfits, accessories, shoes. We specialize where our competition doesn't. When women are shopping for jeans, they just want to shop for jeans. They don't want to be distracted by other apparel items such as tops and dresses. Redenim women want high quality clothing, not cheap, poorly made stuff, which is a cornerstone of many of these other personal styling services. And that's the exact reason why we operate in the premium space, quality over quantity. Finally, women want choices when they're shopping for jeans. So a Stitch Fix box turns up, there's 1 pair of jeans in there, maybe. 50-50 shot if they work for her or not. We listen to our customers. They want to feel like their concerns about fit and style are being heard. So we give them options as they make this investment in their apparel and wardrobe. We do denim, and we do it really, really well, because this is such a loud and impossible to ignore pain point. And our customer satisfaction and conversion rates reflect this. Which leads me to our key milestones. So currently we partner with 7 designer brands. All of them are headquartered in Dallas, which is awesome. We'll be onboarding an additional 4 to increase our portfolio of sizes, styles, and price points. Between beta tests that we ran late last year and the opening of our MVP, we built a wait list of 1,000 customers just from word of mouth alone. Those customers have been referring additional customers at a rate of almost 1 to 1. And we're actively working to nurture and convert those referrals. Between our beta test that we ran and the opening of our MVP, we shipped 100 resale boxes to customers, that number's growing, and generated about $11,000 in revenue. We noted that 2 out of 3 women purchase from their Restyle box, on average 1.5 pairs, so not like 1 and then like a pant leg, but like 1 or 2 pairs, with an average purchase value per box of $160. So over the past few months with our MVP, we wanted to take this time to again validate our market, to get valuable customer feedback from women who are trying it, and use that as we build out in entirety our version 1 platform, technology, and AI. We engaged our waitlist last Wednesday, letting them know that services were open to them. We saw a 72% increase in accounts generated and shipped over 40 boxes with orders coming in now daily. So we're currently raising $400,000 at a $3 million valuation. During our time here at Sputnik, and with the $100,000 that they invested, we were able to, again, continue to validate our market. We built in entirety our version 1 platform and rolled it out. We built the foundation of our fulfillment operations, and we also rounded out the team in support of rapid growth. In seeking an additional $400,000, we want to move into rapid customer acquisition through targeted marketing, PR, and building out a referral strategy. We want to grow our fulfillment capability. We want to continue to improve our technology, both in creating greater accuracy and more accessibility to the customers with the rollout of the mobile app. And we want to aggressively move into the plus size market. Our raise allocation, again, goes towards marketing, locating and outfitting an operations fulfillment center, continuing to build and improve our technology, and making any additions to the team necessary to support rapid customer acquisition and growth. All of our inventory is financed on a line of credit. And given that our margins are about 50% on all jeans sold, that will become a self-perpetuating cash flow in the business. All of this is in support of our goal to onboard 6,000 customers, and given the conversion rate from our MVP and trials, that will help us generate our first $1 million in sales in 2018. We are Redenim, and we believe that all women should feel comfortable, confident, and sexy in their jeans. We look for that moment when she pulls them up, buttons them closed, and she sees herself in the mirror. They fit, they feel good, and they look amazing. And in that moment, they go from just being a pair of jeans to her jeans. And we want to be the ones to bring her to that moment every single time. We are Redenim, and we want you to get in our pants, truly. Questions? Yeah, any questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
You said raising 400K at $3 million. Is that pre or post?
That is pre.
Was the 160 including the $20 selling fee, or
it's included it, I believe. We'd have to check. But the average purchase value, MSRP for the jeans that we sell is about $90 to $210. So it would kind of land in the middle of that.
and because inventory is expensive, I understand you want to own the experience with the customer, but was just kind of buying JIT from suppliers not a good option?
How so? Sorry.
Like as needed, from like once you identify the styles you wanted to send a customer, then get them from the manufacturers.
Sure. So
rather than holding inventory.
right. So we're able to predict kind of what is going to sell. For women, it's a dark skinny jean, and we're able to bring in enough inventory of that, knowing that it's going to sell. And we don't really divert a whole lot from more conservative styles, things that we know are going to perform well, until we have enough sort of market to serve customers who want other options. We didn't want there to be too much time between when a customer orders and when we were able to ship it out. Right now, our turnaround from designers when we order is it's about 7 days, it's about a week. And so we've kind of built that in currently, like where we're at, to allow for that and accommodate it. But we want to get to a point where we can pack, ship, and move fairly quickly, just to keep a consistent customer experience.
Hey, you talked about your revenue projections for the first year. You talked about gross profit. What are your projections for your operating expenses in that first year? And there wasn't anything covering the OpEx side of the equation, the staff, the support, promotions, and running the business itself.
Sure, we're looking at that in terms of space here in Austin. Probably be about $40,000 for a year operating space, really super lean, small to start. And then payroll, we're kind of looking at it based on the positions that we have to fill specifically outside of the executive team to be able to do things like pack and ship, part-time support for marketing, things like that, and kind of backing into numbers that we can work with going forward in that race. We're operating super lean, but again, not financing inventory on money raised helps us to put that capital in operating expenses and only dip into our line of credit as we need to procure inventory.
You have the full pro forma you gave them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it gave them the full flood mark?
Sure. Yes.
So you mentioned fit is utmost importance, but you're buying products that's already available to the consumer, right?
Sure.
They can see. So how do you enter that data in terms of fit? So some designer might have, size 13 and the waist is X and the hips are Y and the length is Z, and that's different from another. How do you enter that data, or how do you know?
We do. Half of the data input into our system actually comes from designers. Pattern schematics that we receive from them that are specific to the styles that we procure. At the premium level, there's a lot more consistency in sizing because the patterns are generated from real measurements instead of just functions of scale, as you see with less expensive, mass-produced fast fashion items. So when women have trouble with consistency in sizing, it's usually when they're shopping the H&Ms and the Targets and the Forever 21s of the world. When you get into the space where we operate, a really big benefit of that is there's way more consistency in sizing. But we still look at every style that we bring in, at least currently at this level of scale, and determine very specific fit notes that are entered into the system. And all of that is pivoted against the customer data that they input, and it's updated depending on what they purchase. So this is how we overcome what's called a cold start with AI, where we don't have historic data to inform the decisions going forward. We backload it with as much information as possible and build up our efficacy rates over time based on performance. So that's a factor that was a major input for the cold start and supports the way our AI is going to develop outwards from here on out.
Do you verify the schematics? You get a schematic that says these are the dimensions that should be present. Do you verify it?
We can, and we do as much as possible. We spend a lot of time with product that comes in to look specifically at it, to touch it, feel it, to understand the fabric, which is another important thing too, is fabric composition is something that we've entered and quantified in our system. But yeah, products will be different. There is some diversity, but we try as much as possible to account for that. Some more questions later. It's Pay's time.
Maybe we'll have Pay plug in and get their presentation running while I do the quick introduction. That way, if our system hibernates and starts to die, I could be at least mildly more entertaining than the blank screen. In keeping with how you're doing introductions here, I'll tell you a little bit about Pay and how Pay came into our system. So when we were reading through all of the applications, we saw an application from a company in Los Angeles, and they were interested in relocating to Austin, and they had this cashback reward system. And I have a friend who's an executive at Visa, and I've been talking with him years before about how Visa loves reward systems because they basically take the lion's share of the money from all of these people, right? And there's so many different reward systems out there, and it just makes no money for Visa. So when I first saw the application, I thought, oh, here's just another way for Visa to make more money. But as I got into and learned what they were doing, and as I read their presentation, I realized that they were doing something very different than what traditional rewards companies do. And in so doing, I became very enthralled with their model, and I saw the potential of it very quickly. And so without getting too much into stealing your thunder, let's turn it over to Tom and the Pay team. Welcome.
Hello everybody, thank you guys for coming. I'm really excited to show you exactly what we're doing. As Joe said, my name is Tom. I am co-founder and CEO of Pay, with my co-founder Mike, who just stepped off. He is CTO. And the rest of our team is here with us, and I'll get into that a little bit more. But to give you some context, right here I have debit and credit cards from MasterCard, Visa, Chase, Bank of America, many other cards that you probably have in your wallet right now. The only thing is with Pay, I'm getting an extra up to 20% cash back on these cards for shopping locally in my community. I'll tell you how we've done So with our wonderful team, I think it's a little bit longer, but with a wonderful team who has been super into finance and hacking up finance tools, we have experience from JP Morgan, Anaconda, to Hewlett Packard Enterprise, to Blue Pillar, where we found a way to overcome Visa, MasterCard, and Amex and provide extra cash back for people at places that they shop. And so our team doesn't stop there. We have a team that came from high-growth tech companies, including Paytm, Airtable, and Empower. And so what we've done is we've recognized that there's an issue. There's an issue for merchants. They're not able to identify who their customers are, find reasons why they come in, and find ways to engage their loyalty, bring them back in for extra visits. And they're losing about $32 billion a year just for those incentives. The market's over $90 billion, but 32 has gone to unredeemable coupons and loyalty programs, to money spent on generic coupons that is ultimately not effective in bringing in that loyalty, and they're ultimately losing the transaction information and data that might be extremely useful to bringing those people back into their store. So things from knowing who their customers are, being able to engage that relationship and provide that loyalty directly into their store, and being able to provide valuable information on location and how their store is doing in comparison to their competitors is all really useful for these merchants. Over $90 billion is already being spent just to get those incentive programs through. And on average, people have about 4 cards just to be able to enroll in loyalty and rewards programs themselves. Over 3.8 billion accounts are being made to enroll in these kind of programs, and over 71% of consumers enjoy cashback specific rewards. Not just coupons, not just loyalty points, not airline miles, but cashback rewards. It is the most sought after reward system. So what we've done is we found a way to develop the infrastructure itself that links up directly with the merchants to provide the one incentive that consumers are looking for. That seamless automatic process in which they receive cash back on their debit and credit cards. The consumer doesn't have to change a single thing. They link up their card to our platform and they can start receiving automatic cash back in Bitcoin or USD straight into their account when they'd like. And the merchant themselves receives a dashboard, a SaaS platform that ultimately tells them all this data based off of their transactional history and information on their consumers and being able to target those specific demographics that convert most to their store. And so with our platform, we're able to match them up directly with those customers that are most intrigued in their store and purchases. So how has it vetted out for us? Well, we now have a wait list of over 120,000 plus people that continues to grow 3%, and we spend nothing on marketing. This has been purely from the tools and from the content that we've been pushing out, we've been able to gain over the last 6 months. And it continues to grow as people are excited about this idea of getting more money into their pockets for supporting their communities and earning seamless cash back. And so are our partners. I mean, we have over 5,500 partner merchants that we work with, from national brands like Forever 21, Hallmark, Denny's, Sam's Clubs, Burger King, and also local mom and pop shops who are interested in engaging these customers and understanding who are these people and how do I get them into my store. And so for them, there's no hardware needed. It's very seamless. They just sign up for the platform and they get direct information through a dashboard. And for them, it only costs 5% per transaction on the consumer. And so for that kind of cost, they're earning a lot of data, but they're also cutting a lot of their incentive costs down. For most of these guys, the acquisitional cost to get that customer into the store by using Groupon or other platforms, they're paying about 30 to 60% alone. And it's a no-brainer. Ultimately, it's a sales commission based. So they're not paying anything until someone actually comes in. So what does the economics look like for us? Well, based off of our pilot program alone, we started to see that we were getting gross $13 per user on a monthly basis. And what we received is $5 net directly to ourselves. After we paid out our customer, after we paid off originally, we got $5. And so on board, each customer costs us about $1.25, since we have to link up directly with their bank accounts and with all the information. So based off of our KPIs and based off of our waitlist, if even we brought on just half of that waitlist and stuck to a KPI of 1, we could reach over 1 million users in 18 months and see a gross amount of money of $15.4 million just in the platform in a month. That would net us about $6 million alone a month straight to pay.
So what does the competition landscape look like? Well, a lot of what we're competing against is Groupon, and another competition is Dodge. The one thing that differentiates Pay from anybody else is the ability to own that infrastructure. That infrastructure is huge to merchants. It ultimately allows us to bring down the cost for the merchant on the acquisitional cost of the consumer, but it also allows us to give them data. Nobody else has that access of over 2 years transactional history like Pay does. And that's a huge benefit for the merchants, because rather than seeing how it helps benefit their store, they're also able to see exactly who the customers are, how can they engage with them, and how can they maintain that loyal relationship, which is huge to them. But it also allows us to do crazy things for the consumer side. I mean, we can provide Bitcoin cash back unlike anybody else because we own the infrastructure. We own the process in which the consumer themselves can enroll and engage and get incentivized. So right now, we're into our second milestone, which is focused on our cash flow and the growth. We want to make sure we get that 1 million users within the 18 months. So we just announced a 2.5 million seed round, and we already have over 400,000 in commitments. Previously, we validated and grew our team. It's a phenomenal team that we have right now, and we're excited to go into the next 18 months to turn cash flow positive and make sure that we bring on those 1 million people. So yeah, I'm happy to take any questions that you guys might have.
When did the waitlist get started?
So about, can I talk about this? Can you guys hear me? Sorry. Okay. Okay. About 6 months ago, we started the waitlist. And so it was right around the Equifax hack. So one of the ways that we started this waitlist off is when the Equifax hack happened, we were the first people to push out a program that allowed people to freeze their credit at all 3 credit bureaus because people were really struggling to do that. And so not only did we release the tool to do that, but we also released a tutorial on how to build that. And so that started to show that we're really focused on security in our platform. I mean, security is a huge component of what we do. And so that really conveyed that, and that's how we started to gain a lot of traction early on.
And so is that set of users sort of an email list that you have access to, or is it sort of a true wait list for interest in what you're launching in the future?
So it's exactly that. It is an actual engagement into a wait list. People are referring other people. They signed up to the platform itself because they have interest in joining. Yeah.
Do you have a sense for like monthly usage on your platform? So the average user is going to spend $500 and get $50 back, or do you have a sense for that?
Yeah, so based off of the economics, the way that we've kind of broken it down, and I actually have an appendix to kind of put into context too. So the monthly spend is about $100 a month per user because we're that correlated to how they spend it within their communities. And so what we've done is we've even broken it up to say, if the max was $100 a month on our user base, just within the 18 months, we would see that we would gross about $154 million, and we would net about $59 million of that. But after EBITDA and everything, we would have 46 in our pockets. But let's say that they spent $30 on average, which is a much smaller amount, right? It's much more feasible. The average ticket price is about $48. We saw that still we would gross about $46 million on the $30 average. We would net about $17 million, and with EBITDA, we'd have 4. And this is just off the 18-month projections. Only onboarding half of the wait list and maintaining a KPI of 1.
So the difference between the net growth is what the customer is getting back, or?
Yeah, the net growth is the difference between what we pay out to the customers and acquisition growth prices and so forth. Let's answer any other questions. We have everything in our data room from performas. We have this deck available and a lot of extra information. So please feel free to reach out.
Okay. Shaking the screen here. All right, so Sonya's coming up. We had a running joke about her laptop never connecting to any projector. It never met a projector it liked. So as Sonya plugs in, we'll go a little bit back into kind of our initial interest, and we, again, going through and reading the applications, in some ways it was kind of good timing, because I had just been watching a BBC documentary about cats. I am personally allergic to cats. I find them, and Sonya knows this, I find them to be not my pet. I'm a dog person. But I found this documentary fascinating because they were talking about how we treat cats and dogs the same, and that by treating cats and dogs the same, we've actually done quite a bit of emotional harm to cats, right? And they were looking at how cats behave differently. They're territorial, they prefer to be solitary. Cats are not pack animals, but we treat them that way because we plug them into dog infrastructure. And on the heels of that, I see this presentation, Uber for cat sitting, and I'm like, and I thought, oh, come on, somebody's already done this, right? This has got to be an obvious need for cat people. So I start looking, and lo and behold, no one has ever done this. This is a complete unmet need, and I got real excited about it. And Sonya is yes, definitely our crazy cat woman in our class, in our cohort. So we'll turn the time over to you, Sonya.
Thank you, Jill. So, as Jill said, I'm Sonya Petcavich. That is not my stage name, that is my real name. And I am the founder and CEO of Meowtel.com, which is Uber for cat sitting. We're bringing the perfect hospitality to the 100 million cat-owning parents in the US alone, which represent a market size of over $5 billion that's spent on cat care each and every year. We're focusing our efforts in 10 major metro cities. These are the most densely populated cat cities in the country. We're going to turn these profitable before expanding elsewhere, and I'm super excited to report that we're growing at over 10% week-over-week revenue growth. So what keeps me up at night is the fact that these dog tech companies like Rover, Wag, Dog Vacay, which was acquired by Rover, have the nerve to go out and raise $500 million thinking they can apply this dog model to cats, like Joe said. Cats don't want to be put on leashes. Cats don't want to go hang out with their kitty or doggy friends at daycare. Cats want to stay home in their safe space where they have their little territory because they're territorial animals. They're not pack animals. They don't want to go play. On top of that, fun fact number one of the day, cats are the #1 pet in the country. They outnumber dogs by about 5 million. Yet they are the oppressed majority, and this has been a ginormous elephant in the room that nobody has done anything about for the past 2 or 3 decades, up until now. And if I had to guess, by show of hands, who is a dog parent here? Cat parent? Oh my goodness, I'm in good company today. Well, usually the investor rooms, they are dog people. Dog people are social, they like to show off, they like to go brag to the other friends at the dog park, so I understand. But the thing is, all this money has been going to the dog people. Rover and Dog Vacay CEOs are ex-VCs, so it's about time that some of this money comes in to solve the cat problem. So you can whip out your phone, go to Meowtel.com. Within a few clicks, you can see all of the 5-step vetted, fully insured, trustworthy cat sitters near you. You can go ahead and set up a meet and greet from there, or make a reservation with just another click. Our sitters love us because not only can they make up to $30 an hour doing what they love, hanging out with their favorite little kitty cats. And that, the money is a big draw for our college-age students, but most of our sitters are on the platform purely because of how much they love these animals. We have sitters in New York City who work for the UN. We have loan processors in San Diego. We have tech employees in Seattle, San Francisco. We have nurses in Chicago. And I think a sitter in Brooklyn told it to me best. She said, Sonya, the reason I'm a sitter on Meowtel is because it was impossible to find a good cat sitter in New York City. So I want to pay it forward based on the level of care I would want for my kitties and offer that to other cat parents near me. And that was like the explosive moment where I was like, man, this platform is different from any gig economy company out there because our sitters aren't drawn to it for the money. They're drawn to it for the love of the animals. And because there are a few dog people in the room, I really want to walk you through the customer experience and what these cat parents go through on their journey to find a great cat sitter. So they arrive at Meowtel and they are stressed, they are panicked, they are anxious. In their eyes, the cats are the children, and they're already freaking out who is going to watch my child. And if you guys need a real testimonial, Karita is actually a Meowtel customer, so speak to her afterwards. But they arrive stressed. And then they see Meowtel, they see there's cat pictures everywhere, they're like, wow, this may look like the community for me. And then they're ready to jump off the cliff and do their first search, and then they see all the 5-star sitters near them. They're like, let's take a chance. Let me message them, see if they get back to me. And then from there, it's, hey, can we set up a meet and greet? They wait 15 to 30 minutes. Ping. Hey, Sonya, I would love to set up a meet and greet and meet your kitties. Are you available Tuesday afternoon? Oh my gosh, the sitter already responded. This is awesome. And then comes the first magic moments, the meet and greets, where imagine 2 introverted, awkward people meeting up for the first time that they met on this cat sitting service. You know, the cat parent doesn't really know what to expect. And the sitter, because we coach them on every sitter success call, we equip them with a checklist of the right questions to ask the cat parents to provide the right care. They are ready to go. They're ready to learn about the cats and help this cat parent. So everything goes well. The cat parent makes a reservation. The second magic moment comes when they're in Europe. They check their phone. They have 5 updates from their Meowtel cat sitter. First update is a photo. Second update is a video. Third update is another photo, but it's a selfie of the cat sitter with the cat, and it looks like they're having more fun than their owner usually does with their kitty. And then the cat parent gets home. They check on the cats as if nothing ever happened. The cats are content at home, just chilling out. And then we send our cat parents a handwritten thank you card with a silly cat on the front. And it just wraps up their experience completely. And then the cat parents go and tell their kitty-loving friends, you guys need to check out Meowtel. What our competitive advantage is going to be is our network of all-star sitters. As I said, these people are drawn to the platform not for the money that they can earn, but because they want to pay it forward and offer superior care to those cat parents around them. Our other competitive advantage is going to be our team. So if you haven't already noticed, I'm kind of a proud, crazy cat lady, but I have a degree from Oxford, so hopefully that legitimizes me a little bit. And then I've been building out a team based on people who can get behind our vision and truly understand what we're doing. And our vision at Meowtel is we exist so every cat and cat parent can live their best life. You know, going back to Kevin on the last slide who lives in Dallas, he didn't take a vacation for 4 years because he was so concerned about his children. And now cat parents don't have to worry about that anymore. So I hope, I've touched your hearts and made you laugh with all the cat pictures and cat stories. But let me get into the market size and also the financials, and then hopefully you're convinced that kitty cats are a big business. So 1 in 3 American households own a cat. It's the #1 pet in the country. And we estimate that about 2/3 of these households need daily care and attention, either because the cat's on special needs or has special needs and requires insulin shots or pilling, or the cat takes wet food, which will of course require a breakfast and dinner feeding. The way I would afford cat parents will take an extended vacation at least once per year. These are busy people. They like to travel, and they're on the go. So if we can even get them for that week that they're away, awesome. And then cat kenneling, which is the inferior solution. It's torture for your cats. It's actually the 3rd largest expense behind vet bills and cat food. And I expect this to continue to work its way up the list as people become aware of Meowtel. Meowtel becomes a household name. It becomes a verb. I'm going to go Meowtel my cat for the weekends. I know this spend will only continue to increase. So taking all these numbers into account, we're looking at a market size of roughly upwards of $6 billion, and that's in the US alone. There's no telling what can happen when we expand overseas. So we generate revenue by taking up to a 25% commission out of every reservation that comes to the platform. And since we've been tracking our first cohort of repeat customers, their value is a little over $400, but we expect this to continue to increase as they stick with us for the life of their kitty and then their next kitty. And it should be no surprise that our 4th quarter weekly revenue results are in the shape of a cat. That's what we do here. And yes, our reservations do follow macro travel trends. So we always see an uptick in Q4. January is our slowest month of the year. And then from there, it's like an 11-month marathon sprint as we go through the seasons with spring break, summer vacation. And our internal mantra at Meowtel is winter is always coming. So we always have to be prepared for our supply to meet the demand come Thanksgiving and Christmas. So this is my cat torture matrix. In this bottom left-hand quadrant, you have all the Rovers, the dog bakers of the world, the Holly dogs, and they're just duking it out right now with all of the VC backing and all the money to see who can be top dog. While they're busy over here spending money on buying market share, as we make our way over to the right, yes, you do have some more cat-centric options like cat hotels, cat kenneling facilities, but this is like putting a cat and surrounding them with all of their mortal enemies. They're hissed at, they're growled at. When you put a cat in a kenneling facility, it usually just sits in a litter box for a week, and comes back extremely upset and revenge poops on your floor when the cat gets home. So we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna provide cats with what they want, which is to stay home. We're gonna keep everything cat-centric. We are creating this blue ocean that we're gonna swim in, we're gonna expand, we're gonna slice some sharks while we're at it, and we are going to win in the cat space so that nobody can touch us as we continue our growth. So we are raising $500,000 in a priced seed round at a $4 million post-money valuation. Over half of this money is going to go directly towards advertising and marketing. So what I love about the point that we're at right now, we have a full quarter of data from our busiest time of the year and a full quarter of data from our slowest time of the year. Averaging these out, we get a really good understanding of how much the customer costs to acquire for us that we can use for the rest of the year. So right now, customers are about $60 to acquire. Sitters are about $16. So to get the desired output that we want, which is going to be $1.5 million in sales in fourth quarter alone, we know exactly what kind of inputs we need to put into the system. The rest of the money is going to be going towards talent, constantly improving our product based on what our cat parents want, and then of course a little bit of insurance and overhead as we keep cruising along. But I'm 1,000% convinced that we are going to own this space. We are going to have 18 months of runway to do so, turn ourselves cash flow positive, and continue to be a kitty unicorn that comes out of Texas. So what questions do you guys have?
So you were talking about from the sitter side, like how many different houses are they for, dwellings are they going to, and like part of their receiving $30 an hour?
Yeah, so at any given time, the max houses that we want them to call on is probably 2, because a lot of people do request twice-a-day visits, which take 2 or 3 hours out of your day. So they will get fully booked up during holiday seasons, but for now, they probably get 1 or 2 bookings a month.
So how many, like, if you have 2 active bookings, how much money is a sitter making from that, like, in a day?
Yeah, so the average booking is a 5-day reservation, $116, and then the sitter will get to keep 80% of that, more or less.
As a Meowtel client, I experienced with Sonya actually last week, and also interested in her business. I think it's genius, or maybe I'm just another cat lady. But how do you make sure that the cat sister as good as you? Because I'm worried about another cat sister. Because how can we, select them to be, beauty, because it's tons of different people who really love cats, or just like cats, or just I do it for money. How can we make sure that
Yeah, that's a good question. So our vetting process is pretty rigorous. It's 5 steps. So they first come to the website, and they have to take a 9-question behavioral quiz, essentially, that kind of grills them on trust, community, responsibility. If they pass that, our requirement is they have to get 80% or above. Then they are invited to complete an application where they list out their experience, whether they can provide insulin shots, all sorts of CPR for the animal, and they have to provide at least 1 reference, but if they provide 2, they get a verified badge. And then once that checks out, once their background check comes back cool, we schedule a sitter success call with them, which is us talking on the phone 10 to 15 minutes, coaching them through everything, answering all their questions, and kind of doing a human check to make sure that they're as passionate about cats as we expect them to be. And then from there, probably the final step is at the meet and greet. If everything goes well and they just ooze cat enthusiasm, that will convert into a reservation. Almost 100% of our meet and greets do convert into reservations. So, like I said, when sitters find out about Meowtel, they do it out of the passion for the animal, not so much for the money, which is very different compared to other sharing economy companies. Yeah.
Is the supply of sitters, is that a concern for you as you grow?
Yes and no. Facebook converts really well for us in getting new sitters onto the platform, and then based on the sitter success calls, I talk to probably 5 to 10 sitters a day, and they've been telling me that they've been referred to us by other friends of theirs that are sitters, so a lot of word of mouth is starting to pick up and accelerate. So I think that will only continue as we grow.
I love the premise that cat people and dog people are just different, and so while the dog people are extroverting at the dog park, cat people, do they want to connect with each other and like have a community through you, or is that something you're not touching, or?
Love that question. So when I first joined Sputnik, Joe and I had this little powwow session where we looked at meetup.com and we compared dog meetups to cat meetups. For dog meetups, there were like over 100,000 people in the world that want to like go out and talk about dogs. Oh, 500,000, sorry, thank you.
500,000 dog meetups around the world.
Yes. For cats, it was like 16,000 around the world. So cat people don't really want to meet up in person. What they want to do instead is chat with each other online. So in our plans is to develop some like cat chat, cat forum, because if you Google like cat chats, you'll see all these like forums from 1995 that are super active with like 100,000 users every single day. So, you know, providing an outlet for our cat parents to talk about cats, post cat pictures is definitely on the roadmap eventually.
It's so crazy. When you go Google this, it is like the nuttiest thing I've ever seen. Like the difference is so stark when you research this. It's crazy.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess one of the customer or the acquisition cost for sitters, or I mean for customers, seems a little bit high. I guess I don't have a great sense, but can you explain like I guess the challenges in that?
Yeah, so our primary method of acquiring new customers is solely through Google AdWords. They convert quite well for us. But it's, so fourth quarter, our customer acquisition cost was about $20 using AdWords, and then during our slower times of the year, it bumps up. But what I've been working on is forming local partnerships, such as we're in the talks with Austin Pets Alive to give out Meowtel branded cat carriers for any cat that is adopted, which, you know, if that customer converts, it will result in a $10 cat for us. So we are doing little things as we scale to bring that cost significantly down because it has jumped up quite a bit since Q4.
So that's interesting that you get the sitters on Facebook, but the customers, that doesn't work on Facebook?
Customers do not convert on Facebook. We've tested it. They click over to the website and then no action is taken. I can't explain why. It might be because of the intent. So on Google, when you're searching cat sitter, you're doing it because you're traveling. On Facebook, people are just there socializing. They're not, you don't know if you're catching them when they're about to travel. So that's the difference. Nothing else?
Okay. I have did some research about, pet sitting. And how can we compete with another websites? Because when I type on cat sitting, and somehow the dog sitting, websites pop out, and also they're willing to take care of the cats.
How do we
compete with that?
Yeah, so I see it as two different services completely. A diehard cat person is not going to go click on Rover and choose to have a dog walker sit their cat. The dog walker will smell like dog, it'll be off-putting to the cats, and they don't truly know cats. They specialize in dogs. So even, if you Google right now, Austin cat sitters, Meowtel will probably be in the top 3, top 4 paid rankings. And we're surrounded by either Austin cat sitters or other dog companies. And to me, there's just no comparison. If you're a cat person, you're going to click on something that says meow. So it helps that it's in our domain name. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. So, well, we're going to be moving on. That was great. And by the way, the cat puns, it's like a way of life. So if you come into our office, you'll hear cat puns constantly flowing.
You guys have picked up on the one
Yes.
now, babe.
One now, babe. Yes, perfect hospitality. Yes. But coming up next, we've got Backtracks. And when we got the Backtracks initial application and I was reading it, I actually had to read it 3 times to really understand what was going on. And it was a technical application, but as I sat there and I read it, I realized, oh, this is Google for audio. right? And you go to Google and you look, and it has like a video tab, and it has these other tabs, but it doesn't have anything for audio. And as I did more research into that, I found that the technology that Backtracks has created to do what they do is unique. It doesn't exist elsewhere. And some other big companies have tried to do this and have not been able to do this very successfully or have failed completely. So as I looked into this more and more, and I saw, wow, Google for sound, this is fantastic. And we're very excited about it. How are we doing on getting it hooked up?
I can start this.
Getting close? Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so we'll turn it on over to you.
Thanks, Joe. So hi, my name's Jonathan Gill. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Backtracks, and thanks for coming out, and thanks for watching on the web and listening to all the pitches of the great companies that have gone through Sputnik. Sorry, we switched computers here, but yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you about the problem that we spent the last 2 years of our lives working on. And it's something that actually concerns all of us and how we communicate as a species. So when you really think about it, all right, this is we'll do this old school. So when you really So human communication follows a pretty simple hierarchy of what you hear, what you see, and what you read. And after millions of years of evolution, your brain's actually hardwired to process audio signals faster than any visual cues. And humans actually, on average, remember what they hear longer, 36% to 39% longer than what they see or what they read. And for all those advancements and our ability to find things on the internet and locate relevant information, those have largely arrived in the wrong order, and they've forgotten that the basis of how we communicate is actually verbal. And a lot of it's spoken language, or what we consider spoken knowledge. And an entire corpus of knowledge is being lost to the ravages of time because it's not discoverable, it's not measurable, and it's not monetizable. So as Joe mentioned, if you were to go to Google now, there would be a text tab, an image tab, and video tab. There's no audio tab. And then basically what Google's done for text, we're doing for audio. So Backtracks builds technologies that unlock meaning and insight from the spoken word. And we do that using state-of-the-art natural language processing, big data analytics, and machine learning. So when you think about audio, there's the container and the content. There's the pace that I'm speaking, there's the tone, there's what's actually being said. We know every silence and every speech. We know every breath you're taking. We know the cadence and the timing of what's going on, the relationship of the sentiment between what you're saying, the topics, the targets of your words. And we can actually identify speakers, identify concepts, and we have very accurate transcripts that allow you to interlink that data. We can actually reorganize audio content for the particular listener and their behavior. And our first application of our technology is in a very quickly growing space. It's actually the largest growing media category in the world, and it's podcasting. So podcasting grows double-digit percentages year over year, and a lot of people are surprised to learn that more people in the US listen to a podcast in any given week than even listen to Spotify. Yet for all that growth and all that listenership, podcasts are still brought to you by Stamps.com, Casper, Squarespace, and the same advertisers. And it's because technology like ours doesn't exist, that ability to actually target the advertisements and to do something like if you had a woodworking podcast and your audience, there are people that are related to that topic, but you own a lumber store. You have no ability to advertise on a podcast now. If it's a local lumber store that's geographically confined, it doesn't make sense to buy a national ad buy in something like a podcast at all. You can't even do it. And you can't measure the results. So that entire industry has a really low floor right now that can grow a lot if you could do something like dynamic programmatic advertising. It's actually contextually relevant. If you just bought a car, do I need to advertise the car to you? Probably not. So our market size is 19.2 billion and growing.
as digital radio comes to fruition with two-way signals and people's taste shift more towards just time shifting of media consumption. And that doesn't even take into account the growth in voice assistants and devices, which is 30% year over year. And our analytics for audio actually works in voice assistants as well. So if you can measure what's happening in any stream of audio, which we can do, we can apply that also to voice assistants. So we have largely substitutes, as Joe alluded to as well, and not really direct competitors. And in the podcasting space specifically, where our first target is, a lot of them are more hosting companies that are commodities, that there's downward pressure on price. And we think about them with that kind of, they're the Lycoses and Altavistas of the world, and then we're actually bringing real technology to play here. So they're just trying to collect basically monthly fees, and they're all competing downward on price and copying each other. And there's not real innovation going on where they can leapfrog anybody. They're always competing for price, and we don't compete on price at all. So far we've processed over 6.5 billion minutes of audio, hundreds of millions of audio analytics events. And we've done that for over 30 marquee customers, including Y Combinator, McKinsey & Company, Dell, Stripe, and more. In the first quarter, we did over 11K in revenue. We have 5% month-over-month growth, but our ARR is actually growing faster than that since the end of the quarter, so we'll be over 65K in ARR. The way we actually make money is through recurring subscriptions, ad hoc meter charges. Think that someone elects to do a particular service, and then in the future, on matching supply and demand in an ad exchange, we'll take a 10% commission of meeting that demand. And we are the sole provider and collector of the depth of data that we're doing. The actual specification for open podcast analytics and audio analytics is our specification. We wrote it. And so the slide with parts many words basically says that we actually know what we're doing. We've worked on navigation systems for NASA, worked on over 30 albums, voted in the Grammy Awards, have applied math master's degree, worked on high throughput payment processing systems for American Express, Visa, at an e-commerce tech company that was scaled from 3 to 50 people. That tech was actually bought by a company across the street. And our team can really deliver in this space, and our expertise is in the intersection of audio and technology when you really break it down. So we're raising $2 million to accelerate the pace of innovation and help our customers know and grow their audience and their audio content. We're actually going to do something kind of crazy and demo at Demo Day. And so just imagine that I'm as good as Steve Jobs was at this thing. Actually, I'm just going to Backtracks, engage. Always fun to demo live. Backtracks, engage. Backtracks, engage. Okay, this worked perfectly, of course. Backtracks, engage. Search for welcome.
Just sit down.
Sit down.
Okay. Search for welcome. Clear search. Filter search to Lisa. Filter speaker to Lisa. Scroll to bottom. Scroll to top. Reset search. Filter speaker to Laura Graves. Layer motion. Scroll to top. Reset search. Layer emotion. Scroll to top. Player open transcript. Player play. Player unmute.
2017 conference call. At this time, all participants
So just to give you a quick
quick overview of what we just did, despite the technical difficulties.
This is actually an application of our technology where it's analyzing an earnings call for the sentiment behind what the actual speakers on the call are saying. And if you want to know what a CEO said or what a particular executive said, imagine being able to analyze that, trade on that. And all of the audio interaction I actually did was measured in excruciating detail, down to knowing what postal code I did it in, down to knowing all those audio characteristics about what I mentioned earlier. So it knew how long I actually played the audio, it knew the textual equivalent of what I was playing. If there were any links here, they'd automatically be identified. If somebody spoke, in this example, this is an AMD earnings call. If they said AMD.com, you could click on AMD.com. If they said we're at AMD, you could click on that.
Click on show annotations.
Oh, well, I'll do this.
Show products. Show products. Show people. Show dates. Show money. Show percentages. Scroll to top. Scroll to top. Show all annotations. Layer of motion. Reset search. So in that, identified all products mentioned. I could have identified all companies, all monetary amounts, all dates, etc. And being able to do that is an extremely useful skill in a variety of industries. And so our first application is in podcasting, but this is obviously an example of how you could apply this to earnings calls or any meeting that you're going through. I want to know in an earnings call every monetary amount, every date, how that relates to it. I want to know every fearful thing the CEO said, every positive thing. I want to know the interrelation between that. You could even layer in your timing and your pauses and your verbal tics. What are your filler words? Do you self-quote yourself over time? And some of that, you have to be creative in how you use it, but some of it's immediately applicable. Really, for us, it's the analytics in that data, and there's quite a lot of data that we process to be able to enable you to learn things about the actual spoken word and spoken knowledge. And there's organizations like the UN that have over 30 years of archives that aren't analyzed that you can make searchable and available to everyone else now. There's national archives in the US and other countries as well. So yeah, if you have any questions.
So that 4 million dollar raise, what was the cap on that? 2 million. 2 million.
It's 9.
9.
And we also have a data room with decks, all projections, all past financials, etc.
Tom, you had some emotions put up there. Have you done any work around truthfulness?
We have not. So we've just started doing some interactions with communications PhDs at University of Illinois and Chapel Hill, and we'll be kind of working together on, and they essentially train politicians and CEOs on some things like that. And our technology will also be used to help train them in eliminating certain tics. Like if you have a southern drawl, is it cute? Does it work well? Does it not work for you? Actually measuring as people listen back to what you say, that can help with that. Or in the truthfulness scenario, if what you're saying coming across as truthful, is it actually truthful? Is there something that happens when you say something that's not truthful that you will detect? Or we haven't done any of that work, but there's lots of PhDs out there in linguistics and communications that are very excited to work with the tech, for sure.
Yeah, I'm like swimming in all the possibilities and the possible uses. What are you focusing on? How are you deciding what to focus on?
So we're focusing on the podcasters right now because that actual market and the need right now is so pressing in terms of all the things you think about in media categories and advertising. Actually, we can remove the ads from podcasts as well. So that's another advantage of the ability to actually sell a podcast with no ads. That is a little bit harder to get to now. But if you know where the information is and you know the repeated content, you can eliminate that as well. And then you enable that
scenario where we get the 10% of the transaction if you were to buy something or to meet a supply and demand. So we've had organizations in various countries essentially want to buy podcast ads or know more information about the content, and that's just not out there. And our current customer base is around companies that use our tech, but they also have podcasts. And they use that to help grow their audience from, if I time shift or I change my release date of my podcast, a lot of people think that doesn't actually matter. It does matter, even though people, just like Netflix only releases content on certain days, and it's not every day of the week. There's lots of reasons for that. And so we can tell you when you should optimally release your audio content. And then in terms of podcasters, they're really underserved in technology. A lot of it's built back in 2007. And so as we apply our tech, there's not really, you can't swap it out with anything that's out there in the market. And it enables a lot of upside for them in that we deduplicate a lot of the kind of fraudulent activity because we have no conflict of interest. We're not actually selling the ads. We're not actually doing that. So we just count, and we count accurately. So if you were to hit download 30 times, it counts once in Backtracks. And then a lot of people that have the conflict of interest of both counting the analytics and monetizing on the advertising side, they don't have the same reasons to be as vigilant on fraud detection as us. And all we want to be known for is kind of like counting accurately and having, on the analytics side, a combination of Google Analytics and kind of Nielsen ratings and the accuracy of the podcast ecosystem.
What's to keep some other companies from doing the same thing?
Go ahead and try. It's really, there's nothing that keeps them from doing it. They can have money, they can have talent, and then it's a question of why haven't they done it. A lot of this wasn't possible before, and so what keeps them from doing it is some of them don't think about the market in the same way as us. If you're our current competitor set, you literally cannot do what we were doing. You may have more money, you may be focused in a different way, but it is actually taking money away from you. So imagine you sell ads for a podcast and you're in an agency model and you get a 50% commission to have a black box of just, I sell Casper ads into your podcast. If you were to offer your customers, so I'm going to reduce my commission to 10% less, you're not going to do that. You want your 50% margin. We're coming in and disrupting your margin as our opportunity, as the saying goes. So a lot of the people that have the tech or the ability to do it wouldn't do it now because it would reduce their actual revenue. So we're coming in, we're saying, you're not actually providing enough value for the revenue that you take. And if you actually were a technology-enabled company, back to sales as well, you could come in and undercut all of that and make it actually a better ecosystem for advertisers and for podcast producers in that scenario. Because you could get more relevant ads, the advertisers would be able to count on a third party for the accuracy of those ads. You didn't just export to Excel and fudge some numbers or something. There's a third party that has no incentive to lie to any of us. And then, so a lot of it is that conflict is the people that could do it don't have the incentive to do it. Really
yeah, but let's say you get two guys that just came out of MIT, and want to just go off and do this. What's to stop them from doing it?
I think they'd have to know quite a lot of audio. We can't speak to some of our customer sets, but we'll say they are in the Ivy League schools. And so if you don't go internal and you come to us, why are you doing that if your technology and your talent's so good? So I would say on that front, they don't have a depth of experience in terms of audio. Like, a lot of our lives has been audio analysis. This company started because people called me in the middle of the night to use my tech when there's public companies that supposedly have tech that do this. And they are part of public companies. So
one of the things we discovered in doing our diligence on this was that Google had spent $2 billion trying to do this and couldn't do it successfully. And I think what makes their team unique is that you have full stack hackers with audio engineering expertise to the level of professional, right? And that type of, this company has kind of made me realize that there may be some credence to like the great man theory of history, that sometimes it's just about having really talented individuals with deep expertise in an area that are able to solve problems that other people can't.
Yeah. I think a lot of the focus for people is on video, and we have a bias towards that. Really, what's underlying the video is actually the audio. When you watch a movie, you might remember the visual aesthetic, but you'll be able to, on average, people can quote the movie better than they'll remember the storyline. You won't be able to remember the color shirt, that there was a plant in the corner, or anything like that. The same thing with video ads. They may see the ad, but actually the audio ads are more effective than video ads. But if all the money is currently in video ads, that's where everyone's attention is. So that's a lot of the reason is you will go to where you will make the fastest dollar, and where I guess all the existing clients are. And this to us is also love and where our knowledge lies. And so that's why people ignore it because they see the shiny video thing, but the actual research from them, which they don't, because they can't address this yet, even says that audio is more effective from the advertising side. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We've got more coffee in the back, more breakfast tacos for people to enjoy. We'll ask that our companies kind of spread out around the room and give people time to be able to talk with them. And also, you've heard and we've mentioned that we have data rooms set up for the companies with a lot more information in them, market information, pro forma financials, copies of their cap tables so you can go and kind of see where they are. There's more detailed history on their revenue and things like that. And we can make sure to get you access to the data rooms for all the companies that you're interested in learning more about. If you don't get the chance to connect today with one of the companies, or if you're any of the people who are just watching online, email Oksana or I, and we'll make sure to get you connected with the folks that you've got questions. Okay, thanks everybody for coming out, and we'll see you after our summer cohort is done, hopefully this fall.
Joe,
Yes.
application.
What's that?
Application.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot. Yes, our application for the summer cohort opens tonight. So if you know people who would be excellent, they have a minimum viable product, they're hacker maker people, and they have a customer, they meet our standards, and we'd love to have them apply. And that's tonight. What time does it open up?
Midnight.
Tonight at midnight. Yep. All right. Thank you.